Hey, what it do, my people? This is T-NIgma with ENigmas Unchained, and today I got my brother back on. I got the ordinary fellow Jay. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right. This is medicine getting together, so I'm feeling better.
Excellent. So same here, man. Love talking to my brothers, man. And oh yeah, just to let you just report this to you too. Our last podcast together was a third highest listened to. Just to let you know that, you know what I'm saying. So I thought that was pretty dope.
It is. I've been sending people to listen to. I've been on some anti-racism tip here, and I thought that was a good resource. So I've been sending people to it.
Yeah, I mean it's gotten good reviews. I had people actually texting me, like DMing me on Instagram. When I put the clip up on Instagram, a couple of people were DMing. They were like, "Yo, on the real, we appreciate how you guys took your time and just dealt with this. Like it had the highest retention as well. For that episode. So I appreciate you for like lending me your brain." And your presence for that particular podcast, and like we're gonna get into an anime this time, a lighter subject, or we think
it should be easier than racism, than American racism. Let me just call it American. It should be easier than American racism.
Yeah. So let's hope that anime does not take us down that road. But
I saw the questions ahead of time, so I anticipated being much more light.
Okay, all right. I'm just joking, man. But yeah, today we're gonna actually deal with a very interesting spin. I have a quote that I normally tell people. I'm part animated, and that's like ANI hyphen made, meaning that there's actually a part of me that actually was crafted by anime. Like for the longest time, I think both of us can attest to this. We were watching anime before we knew it was anime. Yep. We thought it was cartoons. We had an episode with Stills, Bobby Stills, where we talked about being old heads in the anime, and like the fact that we didn't really have a distinguisher to tell us, oh, this is actually anime and this is from Japan and this is from. We didn't have that at the time. It was just something that we could catch on TV, something you had to tune your TV up to find. When you had to do dumpster dives to find good anime. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's on feel like it's on every station and on every phone. But not good anime all the time though. No offense to most stuff people watch, but like not spectacular anime, but anime is still anime. But we want to start today with the enigma today, which kind of ties into what I just said. What makes an anime timeless? Shoot, bro.
Anime. Shoot. Oh, what can make it timeless? What makes anime timeless to me is that if I watch something that's 20 or 30 years old, and there's plenty of anime that's older, and it feels like, and it still feels relevant, still feels fresh. Whatever I felt when I watched it back then on the older stuff like that. Because look, we're in 2020 now, so there's a lot of stuff.
Oh, bro,
that's old now. So if I watch it again now and I still feel the same way that I felt then and that I feel now, yes. And if it had some kind of relevant thing, some sort of relevant thread that it taught me something 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and it's still teaching me something now, and I'm still drinking from it, like I would consider that to be timeless, or anime or anything for that matter.
Yeah, I agree. And I would even take it a step further as far as like to say that the theme of the anime actually it transcends time, like you were just saying, as far as like it actually being relevant for this time. But the theme was so timeless that that people could actually kind of duplicate it and it would still work. You know what I'm saying? So we see like stuff like Gundam. I just said throw Gundam in there because like most people forget that the whole root of Gundam is about freedom. The whole idea about people building Gundams was that it was their last hope. That was the whole idea. Like yeah, it's cool to have mechs and stuff like that. That's cute and all. But the reason why there are certain Gundam series that are shunned is because they shied away from the fundamental fact that the person who armed the Gundam was a arbiter of hope. Now that theme about using mecha suits for hope can be used for other things as well. And then you go back and watch that old anime like Mobile Suit Gundam 1 with Amuro Ray. It's still lit. Char Aznable is still one of my favorite characters right now.
Lit. It's still so good.
It's still good. I mean, that dude to put a doggone bazooka to a chick's face in space. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, is this? I've never seen anything done like that in anime to this day. To this day, I ain't seen it done over. Like that dude was sitting in space with like a space bazooka looked the girl right in the face and just blew her head off and blew up the ship. I'm like, when has this been duplicated? Ever? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was like, but that's not the only thing that happened. Just to make sure y'all know, I ain't no sex. I'm just
yeah, but look, Amuro killed Lala, bro.
Oh yeah, facts. I mean,
he cried about it, but
yeah,
you know,
he did. But it was real. It was real though. I mean, like I appreciate that about the show because like those themes are deep themes. And I even think about you know, like one of the reasons why Studio Ghibli is so endeared to a lot of people is because thematically they're unbeatable when it comes to anime movies. Like people have been replicating their formula for years, but they've already made all the themes. You know what I'm saying? Nausicaa. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like one dude's on like, no, Nausicaa is also a story about freedom, and is also, I mean, because like normally Ghibli normally deals with nature versus man. You know, like there's normally a very like a big revolving theme around that when it comes to Studio Ghibli. But I was
especially Miyazaki, that's like a real
facts. Oh, bro,
that's a real anchor for him, an anchor point. That's something. But if you look at the reason that it would be though, like because Christine and I, my wife Christine, so the two of us were talking yesterday because she's never really been a Miyazaki fan. So right now we're doing a mini tour through Miyazaki.
Okay, cool.
We're going through Mononoke Hime, Spirited Away,
look, man,
and Kiki's Delivery Service.
So fire! All three are fire. This is
so with Spirited Away, she was like, "Oh, it was okay. Don't need to watch it again." I wonder. And then we watched Kiki's Delivery Service, much more delightful. But she said, "But now I can say I've seen it, and now I'm." What else you got?
She's done. Yeah.
So we haven't done Mononoke Hime yet. That's coming soon. I have a feeling she might like that more. But I said that's his most Miyazaki in particular. That's his most violent one.
Yes, it is. Yeah, like Mononoke Hime is or Princess Mononoke for the people people in America. That was probably the most visceral imagery of man versus nature.
It was, and it gets religious too. So it's really interesting.
It does. Yeah, it does. It was good.
But we were doing a compare because but she likes Kurosawa's work though.
That's interesting. Really?
Yes, she really likes so her favorite Kurosawa piece is Ikiru.
Okay.
So she really likes Kurosawa's work and his storytelling thing. And I told her that there's a lot of overlap. And we thought before she started watching the Miyazaki films. I said there's actually a lot of overlap between Kurosawa's storytelling pace and Miyazaki's, but like obviously their mediums are different. Kurosawa did film and Miyazaki did animated stuff. But there's a lot of overlap in terms of how they use music, how they close-ups, a lot of internal dialogue, a lot of that stuff that they share a lot of that stuff, saying a lot of things with the expression of someone's face without actually using words. They have a lot of overlap. I said, but the difference is this is my dissertation to her. One of the things that make the reason why their themes are the themes, or perhaps why their stuff is timeless, is that unlike Western film, which is largely focused around good elements and negative elements, like a protagonist versus an antagonist, and there's usually a moral story that you're trying to wrap up really succinctly and also in a very bald in a very bald way. These two men were living. They lived in overlapping periods in in a very hurtful, painful time in their country's history.
That's right.
Kurosawa,
anime was birthed out of that. You know, like it was birthed out of World War II. You know, like as far as like the influence of what the war did to Japan. I mean, and which is once again another thing that people normally don't get. Why a lot of the early anime were actually themed after warships, like Battleship Yamato. Was one of the very first like real big animes that were received across the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like Astro Boy. You know what I'm saying? Like the use of technology to create this poor that's supposed to be this unbeatable machine, but he had a soul. You know what I'm saying? Like small things like that we have to deal with the nuance of that. It's like putting a person in a situation where they have to choose between what's right and wrong, but then them trying to find that fine line. You know, it's a Japanese thing.
It is. And so a lot of our media and a lot of our movies, even the stuff that like our country's never been through anything like what Japan has gone through. In terms of like your capital is gone. And and another major city has been just like been destroyed by an atom bomb, or having to rebuild your capital after an earthquake, or
Yeah.
being hit by a
Yeah.
tsunami. We've had major cities along our coasts hit by hurricanes and really badly damaged, but we have never experienced in the history of our country where the infrastructure is gone, with the exception of with the exception of the Civil War and the Great Depression.
That's right.
With the exception of those two instances, we don't have in our recent memory, and we also don't like to retain those memories, by the way. We like to deify the people who survive those memories, but we don't like to keep the pain of those memories close as a reminder as to how to do things differently.
Yep.
Westerners, when they experience pain, they don't want to explore that pain and try to find out how this all happened. They just want to make sure we have a saying here: never again.
Yep.
We like to say never again. So so we're always trying to find ways to avoid ever having to experience that pain again. And I don't feel like we always learn anything when we're doing that. But
it's more like the kid that that fell off the bike and just refused to learn how to ride the bike.
Yes.
Screw
this bike.
This bike is violent. I'm
never gonna ride a bike again. I fell off.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But what the Japanese have done is that they've actually processed, because they committed war crimes. They did atrocities during both world wars. That's just. But what they have done as part of what they've done as a nation, especially after the atom bombs happened or after their country opened up to the West, they've processed the pain that they've caused others and the pain that they've caused their own selves as a nation. They've processed that through their art.
Yeah,
they've taken the time to memorialize it and to keep it. So Kurosawa, he was in his 30s when he was in his 30s when World War II happened and when the atom bomb dropped. So he was really just ramping up at that point. So with him, he's seeing as an adult the reconstruction of his country begin.
Yep.
He's seen Tokyo destroyed. That's why Ikaru was in a reconstruction era, a man who had
cancer or something like that, right?
Yeah, he had cancer. But basically, the dude was a civil servant who had worked really hard all his life to gain wealth, gain a really good pension for his family. Wife died, all that. He still kept working, but he'd always been quiet and passive, but always a really hard worker. And then when he finally got cancer, he realized he was going to die very shortly. He had a period of when, spoiler alert, so just letting folks know, it's a really dope film. What I'm saying is not going to give it justice, but there are some spoilers. This man goes through a transformation, he goes through a transformation of trying to figure out what's actually valuable in life, and that he needs to have legacy and something that's going to extend past him. He goes through this whole sort of wave and ebb and flow, and it's a beautiful film. It's an incredible film. It's still relevant today. It still gets today. That's a timeless film. Yeah. But Kurosawa was making that kind of art that was processing the grief of his nation, because we're talking about Japan building itself back up after the atom bomb, and that's what this civil servant, this character, this 40 years of work was happening in the reconstruction of Japan after World War II. That's the era that the civil servant's living in, and so Kurosawa is processing all this, and his films have those kinds of themes in it. The helplessness of being an ordinary villager, and that a bandit could come through and wipe out your whole village on some petty stuff.
Facts.
With the quickness, with the quickness, the fragility of life, and Americans don't like to, in our media, we don't like to process the fragility of life. We don't like to think about that darkness and trying to find the inner hope with that fragility in mind. We don't, and if we do think about fragility, we think about individual fragility, not fragility of a whole people group. We don't like to sit there. So Kurosawa was doing that kind of work, and Miyazaki was 5 years old or so when the atom bomb fell. So Miyazaki, versus Kurosawa, who actually was alive before the bomb, and then after the bomb lived through the reconstruction. Miyazaki was a kid migrating around when the bomb happened, and so then the world of reconstruction was something that was natural to him. Does that make sense? For Kurosawa, it was not natural at all. It was something that was an interruption of his normal life.
Exactly.
Whereas for Miyazaki, the beginning, Miyazaki is coming in where Kurosawa was getting ramped up and making his work known. Miyazaki was in his formative years. So for him, the idea of being in reconstruction and seeing damage done to the environment by atomic particles, and seeing the violence of nation against nation, and seeing the forgetting of the old gods, forgetting of the old spirituality for the sake of progress, and seeing value in women who play part in rebuilding his country. Miyazaki has a very high view of women.
He does.
It's actually for his age and his tenure. It's actually kind of unorthodox for his, because shame and honor chauvinism is the root of is one of the big roots in Japanese culture.
Yep.
So for him to have such a high view of women and of their value and of their ability to stand strong, because he saw women rebuilding their nation.
Yeah.
And so he believes in the strength of women and without it being limited by having a vagina, if that makes sense.
You know, like what one of the things I got to add on to that as well, though, which I thought was like, I think is one of the turning points as far as like for him really building and doing that. His wife, her name is Oda. I think is her name. She's also an animator as well, and her life and her story, I think, played a very, very large influence on how he actually drew and how he dealt with women as well. Like, you're right as far as like him looking at the culture really being rebuilt by women. Like it really was rebuilt by women after 1940, after 1950s. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a real thing. You know, but you also got to think that this man is. I mean, and this is all shade. I mean, this is in 100% shade. I mean this before I even say it. Walt Disney was trash. You know what I'm saying? So whenever people talk about originality is not in Walt Disney. Originality is Miyazaki Hayao. That is originality. The amount of stories that he came up with on his own that had some influences. But as far as like them thematically being said and built by this man's own imagination, he is far superior than Walt Disney.
Yeah, he is.
Now here's the. I think Walt Disney had better friends as far as with money, and he also knew how to steal. You know, and that's a process that Disney loves to learn now because they love stealing. Ask Kimbe the White Lion, like Kim the White Lion, how
Simba,
how you feel about Simba taking on stunning with Lion King, and that was also from Japan, which Japan, I mean, like, Walt. Let me get off there, but because I go on there for like 15 minutes. But Miyazaki has his feet in the water where the people are at as well.
Yeah,
you know, like, and I think that I think that's what made his stuff timeless. So now we got Miyazaki, Gundam. Give me one more example outside of those two that you think is a time that I'm talking about, like as far as a serialized. Let's go serialized this time. A serialized anime that you think is timeless.
That's timeless. So this is silliness here, and it's partially just because it's been going on for so long. I feel like when it wants to be, One Piece can be timeless when it wants to be. Because sometimes, like I can still go back to a 15-year-old episode because golly, they've been around for a long time.
Oh yes, 1999, yo. I mean, with 1999 for the anime.
Yeah, even further back for the manga. But when Nami finally joined the group and you know, and she asked Luffy for help, and he put his hat on her head, and she was, you know, and then he it wasn't even a question. Bet.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, let's go. Like, and that walk with all of them walking.
Yeah, with their backs to the camera, that kind of thing.
Backs to the camera.
Does that still? Like, I still tear up every time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I still tear up every time to that moment. I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about it.
Same. So it's crazy. Me and Ice just got done doing an episode addressing the Arlong arc. Like, that was our last episode last week. So it's fresh for us. Like, and he's actually doing a rewatch because he didn't get a chance to really catch up on the post arc. So I'm waiting for him to catch up. But we're literally walking through. We're walking through each one of the arcs and just kind of pointing out the themes and stuff like that. But you're right, man. I mean, One Piece, to me, at least to me and him, we think that One Piece is in the top 3 of all time when it comes to like actually serialized anime. Yeah. Because they have, I mean, as far as when it comes to dealing with systemic issues, One Piece is the best anime that's dealt with stuff like that. Racism, classism, forgiveness,
my
elitism.
God, the forgiveness.
I mean, like, dude, there's so many things that I tell. We have a quote right now with the ENigmas Unchained about One Piece. Oh, you thought this was about pirates?
It's not really.
You thought this was about pirates? That's cute.
Friendship, freedom, forgiveness, but there's a whole list of themes that just start with the letter F that have to do with One Piece.
Yes.
Good Lord. Like it's like
so I give you that. I give you that. So I'll throw one since you took mine.
Granted, I was kind of half in because sometimes One Piece is on some bull crap. Okay.
I mean, it's fair. I mean, like
there are times when they want to be.
And they have some fillers, and you be like, "What does this have to do with anything?" But then you like go like 200 episodes. You're like, yeah, like he's like throw it at you, like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." Okay,
they're good at including. They're good at sewing their fillers back into the main thing.
Yes, they are. Like they did far better than Naruto. Never mind.
But you realize that from Luffy's perspective, right? He just left his island on his mission to become the king of the pirates, like 3.5, 5 years, somewhere between 3.5, 5 years.
3 years, because he was like 17. He's like close to 20 now.
He's only moving slightly faster than the Simpsons right now.
Yes, he is.
In terms of the timeline, they've got to stop that. Okay.
Yeah.
Stop it. I love One Piece and everything, but enough. God.
No, it's funny. It's funny that you say that though, because one of the things that they were that Oda was talking about lately is that like he's coming to his end. Like he's like look, once you get out of Wano, there's only one more place to go, and that's this is just a bold prediction on our side. We think he's going to the Island of the Giants, and we do believe that that's where Shanks is. I mean that's my take, because a lot of Shanks stuff is themed after Nordic mythology. And a lot of what the Giants are is after Nordic mythology. So like, and I noticed he always tackles a mythology with each one of the places that he goes to. So I'm like looking, I'm like I think that next is gonna be the Isle of the Giants. And that 9 times out of 10, that's going to be where the final Yonko rests his head, which is the man Shanks.
I'll take you up on that right there, because there's no one else left to reveal at this point.
That's
but
it.
But Shanks, and then maybe a little bit more explanation on Kurohige.
Exactly.
But in terms of like the main people, like because we know nothing about Shanks.
Exactly.
Not really.
We know more about Blackbeard than we know about Shanks.
That's true.
So and that's what I'm saying. Like Shanks has been shrouded in mystery since he lost his arm. Actually, before when the first manga is like literally them at the shore and him going through the whole stuff. I mean, I kind of didn't like how the anime did it, because the anime flipped it. They didn't do his origin story first. They thought it would be boring. But I do believe I understand what they did. They want to catch people to action. But like the first manga, Shanks is in it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that Oda thought Shanks was going to. I don't think when he first put Shanks in, I don't think that Shanks was supposed to be a Yonko or important. Do you think so?
I think so. The reason why, because he was using Conqueror's Haki in the first manga.
He was, but it wasn't the kind of like.
No, it was Conqueror's Haki. Like
no. What I'm saying, he was using the Conqueror's Haki, but he was not. Shanks wasn't strong enough to be standing up toe to toe, like the power jump from getting your arm bit off for basically no reason.
I mean, like that's what I'm saying. So that's why I said the Nordic mythology portion, because I try to remember, was it Balder? Is one of them that lost their arm protecting somebody, and they were known for having like one good hand. It was more of a sacrificial thing than it was about strength. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. I think that whole situation, I think Shanks may have let that happen to motivate on Luffy, because remember now, every single time that all this stuff happens, he's always watching Luffy grow, and he's just drinking happily. You know what I'm saying? So they'll say I think that there's more nuance on the character of Shanks for a reason. You know, the fact that he can just walk on Whitebeard's ship, so with a big old thing of liquor,
and knock everybody out, except Whitebeard.
And he ain't got no devil fruit. That's a joint that gets me with that. He doesn't have a devil fruit. You know what I'm saying? His devil fruit was the Gomu Gomu no, and Luffy ate it. So that being able to procure a devil fruit is hard. That's why Kaido is making them. You know what I'm saying? That's why he had Doflamingo and them trying to figure out how to make fake ones. because there's no way to really find. They just spawn wherever they want to spawn back up at. So like that was saying, I think that he did. I think he did have a bold plan, but I think there's more pieces now. But as far as the foundation for Shanks, he's the mentor character. Mentor characters in most anime never get it good. But I think that Shanks
he needs to show up more to be a mentor. He's not.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, I get you that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but as far as like the construction of what type of case, he's like a Kakashi. Kakashi is more like the mentor character that ended up becoming the big guy when Naruto ended. You know what I'm saying? But Shanks is kind of in that same position where like the person that is pushing him to go further, is for Luffy to go further is Shanks. And 9 times out of 10 they die. So it's like that's the only thing I'm like, oh god dang it. I think they probably saving it for last because that might end up happening. Because it's like Blackbeard coming from the grain because the scar on his face from Blackbeard.
Yep.
So it's like the only person to physically scar him is Blackbeard. That's freaking dangerous. That's a dangerous dude right there.
It is. Blackbeard cheats too.
Oh, facts. He has no honor. He has no honor at all. But yeah, like so for me, I'll throw one at you, man. I will give you like a more, like I won't say recent, but one that's a little bit more urban, so to speak. I would say Cowboy Bebop is timeless. And the reason why I would say it's timeless is because thematically each episode actually dealt with consequences of a civilized world. Like I thought it was always like drug abuse, prostitution. They dealt with plagues even. Like you remember, like there was that one episode. It seemed real goofy, but they were dealing with the fact that they didn't even have a cure for this one thing that was biting everybody. And they were in a closed space that they could not find a way out. Like small things you normally don't think about, but even like the whole idea of deconstructing the hero, where like Spike was not really a hero, but he kind of died a hero's death. You know what I'm saying? Like
cry every time. I still cry every time at every death and then.
Yo, look. Let me. What wasn't what's her name, man? God dang it! Don't forget her name. Who sung the song in the end? Because she sung for Ghost in the Shell too. I don't know why I can't remember her name. But everything is clearer now. Everything's a dream. It's never ending. I'm ascending. That line at the end of Cowboy Bebop had me in tears the first time I had. And then the last quote was that you got to carry that weight. That is a timeless quote. It's like I was like, God dang. You know what I'm saying? Like I can hear the song in my head now while I'm talking. It was that lit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but that particular, like the theme about like you have to live by the consequences that you've already you have to live by the decisions that you made, and you have to carry the weight of those things that you've done. Yeah. That was the whole purpose of Cowboy Bebop. And I think that's a timeless message. That I'm hoping Netflix doesn't mess up. So if Netflix does an original live action of that, man, just go ahead and burn it from the get-go. Like they're trying to do one for Avatar.
It doesn't exist. Neither of those they just
poof.
They don't. I can't acknowledge them. I will say that that the creator of Cowboy Bebop only has one timeless anime, but he has he has created 3 classic anime.
Yes.
Like 3 iconic. So like Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, and then Carol and Tuesday.
Yeah, bruh. All of them are good.
Did you see Carol and Tuesday?
Yes.
It was really good. It was really good. Like, this guy's brain, he knows how to integrate music.
Yes.
And and it's always music of a particular era. And he knows how to just weave it seamlessly into the story and make it and just that man's brain.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. I mean, like I was watching like a part of me, when I was young, I had never seen Samurai Champloo without English, and I like got it, I bought it, and I got it, just for the Japanese Japanese audio with the English sub, and it's so much better. It's all
bad. It's a woman, Keiko. Keiko. Sorry, yes, that woman's brain isn't. She knows how to weave music into it. But those are her 3. I know she also wrote Wolf's Rain as well, and she also did Macross Plus. She did the screenplay for Macross Plus.
Yeah, Macross Plus is one of my jams, yo. Man, Macross Plus was probably, to me, it's my top 3 favorite anime movies. It's up there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like don't say stuff like that. You know, you like, yo, the level of ingenuity, you know, that these things have. When my son is older, I can show him Samurai Champloo. I can show him Cowboy Bebop. He actually watched his first episode of One Piece today. I turned it to the last. I watched the last episode of Alabasta, when Vivi was asking him to not forget her, and they show her the X on their arm, and he was just standing in front of TV like, he said, "Daddy, what's that?" Like he was blown away by the fact that like that the girl was crying. He knows how to identify when a person is sad. He said, "Daddy, why is she sad?" And I was like, she's not sad. She's more happy, son. Those are happy tears. And he watched, like, you know, the music, dun 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 dun, and he's just standing in front of the TV just looking at it. And he was enamored. He was like, wow.
And so that shows timelessness right there, because like your son just turned 3, right?
Yeah, he's only 3 years old.
So he's just turned 3, and then you showing him stuff that's like way before his time, and it's like fresh for him.
I mean, I was a teenager when One Piece came out. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he looked at that and he was blown away by the fact that them people cared about that girl.
Yeah.
You know, my wife, she's gonna be off and on, but she loves One Piece. She actually enjoys that. That's probably one of the ones she enjoys the most because it's wacky, but it has meaning. You know what I'm saying? But she doesn't mind. She saw him watching and she was smiling because she knew the theme for that particular art was friendship. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how far would that dude go to protect his friends?
To the end, to the end, to the bottom, to like there ain't no mountain high enough, etc. etc.
Facts. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but yeah, that's I mean, and if you guys got anything you want to add on to that, you know, T-NIgma at ENigmasUnCHAINED.com. You can also DM us on Facebook, Instagram. You know, send us your replies and tell us like what animes you thought were timeless.